Tiny portable digital to analog converters are products that I love. It's like cheating the manufacturers of bigger and more expensive equipment, because the tiny little decks can give you great audio for a fraction of the cost and size. Now, in the past I've made several reviews about these, like the sturdy VO E10K, the nifty LNE fan, the horrible Creative Play 3, the excellent Audio Quest Dragonfly Black Red Cobalt, and the tiny and inexpensive Apple USB-C. And every now and then I switch between these devices depending on the mood I'm in. And now I've got another one I want to add, the Hidizs S9 Pro Plus. Well, hello there and welcome to another video here on Anton's Hardware. Now, before I start, I must mention that Hidizs sent me this product for free. But besides providing me with this free sample, I can say whatever I want. I don't have to say that I love it or hate it. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. So let's get started. And here it is. Now, I must admit that when I got the package, I was amazed by its size. Because when you look at the pictures on the Hidizs website, you'd surely think that a bigger package would be needed. But no. Taking a look at the website, by the way, states that the S9 Pro is just €82.76, but that is without shipping. Let's open up the package to see what's inside. There are two versions of the S9, the Pro and the Pro Plus. Now, the differences are minute. They both have the same saber deck, which I'll talk about later. They both support up to 32 bits and 786 kHz and DSD 512. Woohoo! The only differences that I could find are the following. The Plus has two buttons, which I'll go more into detail about later. Also, a slightly better signal to noise ratio and more output power on the 3.5mm. Now, one thing that really shows off that this is a hi-fi product is the fact that it has a 4.4mm balanced output. Using a balanced output will enhance your audio quality a lot. Without getting too technical, it's just a better separation of the left and the right channel. And this can be seen very clearly in this overview, where the channel separation is way better than the unbalanced 3.5mm output, a whopping 30 decibels of difference. For both the Plus and the regular, the logo on the side has a real function. The sampling rates are designated with yellow and purple for the DSD, and blue, red, white and green are used for PCM, each with their own respective sampling rate. All the way up to 786 kHz, but sadly Windows 10 or 11 will not be able to reach that number. You need third-party software for that. If you have the Plus, the colors of the logos are also used for another function than sampling rate, namely the filter that is used. Now, as you can see, the S9 Pro Plus has two buttons. Now, one is nothing exciting, it's regulating the volume, nothing special, but the other button is something that will grab the attention of audiophiles: filter pulse response effects. Now, these aren't voice distorting or morphing effects that you may find in older sound cards. No, it's absolutely nerdy subject and I love it. It has everything to do with roll-off. Roll-off, you may ask? Yes, roll-off. The roll-off is the way that the digital to analog converter interprets PCM audio around 20 kHz, the higher frequencies. DSD also has some filtering but works in a whole different way. so this is only for PCM. Now, as we all know, digital audio is recorded by measuring audio or frequencies at certain intervals, creating a boxy waveform which can be stored. When playing audio back, audio is then reconstructed by the digital to analog converter from this boxy waveform. And this digital to analog converter has 6 to adjust the roll-off to your likings. Hidizs describes this as following. The green light is anodizing fast roll-off, where vocals are slightly forward, higher frequencies are extended, and there is reduced resonance. You have a linear phase fast roll-off. Enhanced analytical capabilities deliver a clean and crisp sound. You have blue light, which is linear phased slow roll-off with enriched harmonics, full low frequencies and natural reverb. You have the yellow light for a minimum phase fast roll-off with balanced and moderate sound. You have the purple light with a minimum phase slow roll-off, clean sound with a forward position. And last but not least, you have the white light, hybrid fast roll-off, soft and smooth sound with enhanced detail. Now, if you're not certain, you can stick to the default, the anodizing fast roll-off, or get the standard S9 Pro. So it's not like the regular is a cheap version that performs worse. No, the targeted user is just slightly different. And what about this digital to analog converter? Let me tell you all about that one. I already mentioned the AudioQuest Dragonfly in the introduction of this video, and there are more similarities between the Dragonfly and the S9 Pro and Plus than just the size. No, the beating heart of both of them is the ESS ES9038 Q2M, the amazing digital to analog converter made by ESS. But what makes this digital to analog converter so amazing? To begin with the capabilities, it goes up to 32 bits and 786 kHz. That doesn't say everything, of course, but it does show that it has the capabilities to be very hi-fi. As ESS themselves described this component, it's a 32-bit stereo low-power audio digital to analog converter. Exactly what is needed for a portable powerhouse. This digital to analog converter makes use of the ESS 32-bit Hyperstream 2 quad DAC chip architecture, where the processed audio has the amazing 120 decibels in dynamic range and 120 decibels in total harmonic distortion. Now these are very impressive numbers. Besides the digital to analog converter, my guess that there is also a headset amp, like in the form of the 9602, also from ESS. I'm not sure because I haven't opened up the S9 myself, but the digital to analog converter isn't capable of driving a pair of higher end headphones. Also used but not confirmed is the CT7601 audio USB bridge, which is exactly what the name suggests, the bridge between the USB port and the rest of the S9 Pro. And there are some other components like an oscillator, but I just couldn't identify them from the vague pictures I found on the internet. So up to now I've been rather subjective about the S9 Pro, because this is my interpretation of the components used. But Rightmark doesn't lie, it doesn't tell fairy tales, it's just pure measurement. So let's head over there to see what the results are. And these are the results on Rightmark Audio Analyzer. Now I did this test at 24 bits and 192 kHz. Why, you may ask? Well, it is easier for me to compare it with other components. The frequency response gets an excellent, and there are averages of very good to goods on there to give it a general performance of good. Now I must say that I was impressed with the stereo crosstalk being an average, where I have seen in the last couple of months, no years, that such a tiny little DAC couldn't achieve, well, those numbers. Very impressive indeed. Overall, in my opinion, for a tiny little DAC, this is just really good. Now, I was a bit hesitant to start the listening sessions. What if I didn't like the audio? Would I still recommend it? And what effect would that have on any future collaboration with Hidizs? I knew that I liked the ESS Sabre digital to analog converter, but what if this was a horrible implementation? Now, to find out, I used two headphones, the Biodynamic DT990 Pro and the Audio-Technica HDH MSR7B. The Biodynamic was used because the 250 ohm it needs will demand more from the S9, taking it to the limits of its capabilities. The Audio-Technica is used because it supports the 4.4 balanced output and also because it's a very precise headphone. The 4.4mm cable has never been used for this, and it is the first experience I have with a balanced output. And what did I think? Well, I worried too much because the audio is just superb. I did have to fiddle a lot with the roll-off functionality and finally settled on the linear phase slow roll-off. This has, according to Hidizs, enriched harmonics and full low frequencies and a natural reverb. And it is extremely good. The bass is masterful, the highs are easy on the ears but still precise, the middles are well defined. It was a true joy to listen to. The soundstage is extremely accurate, and when switching to the balanced output, I was amazed with the 4.4mm balanced output. Why doesn't every digital to analog converter have this? The soundstage was extremely wide and it almost felt like I was in a 7.1 surround sound exhibition. And now for my conclusion, will I recommend the Hidizs S9 Pro Plus? There are some downsides that I want to address first. First is the name. It is also called the Martha, which is the name of the last surviving passenger pigeon. Now, unless you're a bird lover, calling stuff after a bird just isn't cool, especially a pigeon. But my guess is that this is a cultural thing, and I must admire Hidizs for choosing something that doesn't conform to Western culture. Second is the design. It's tiny and thus very portable, but the two buttons are somewhat annoying in its position and usage. When putting it in your pocket, I have accidentally turned up the volume and turned it down. Third is the huge amount of colors that are used. It's confusing. You have 6 colors for the sampling rate, so not just for the PCM but also for the DSD. And also there are colors for what filter is used. Now, I couldn't remember which setting I wanted and I had to constantly look up what color coding meant. A small LCD display would have been better, but okay, it would also have made the S9 more expensive. But these are just all minor points. It all boils down to the audio quality. How good does the S9 Pro Plus sound? Well, I have to tell you, it just was amazing. It is my new favorite digital to analog converter, and I'm not saying that just because, well, I got this one for free. No, it is a really good digital to analog converter that I can wholeheartedly recommend. And with this ending, I would like to thank you for making it all the way to the end of this video, and I would like to see you in the next one. See you then, bye bye!